Want to hear a joke? My upload schedule. But really, I've been lacking a lot in good content, and Shadowplay compilations really don't count. But nonetheless, I'm back, and I have another tech review for you guys. And today is a pretty big one compared to the previous videos, as I'll be reviewing the MSI Aero ITX GTX 1060 6GB video card. Back in June, my GTX 770 was on its last legs of life. One day I was playing a game, and the fans came to a literal grinding halt. It was pretty bad, and it didn't sound too pleasant. So I shut down my PC immediately and realized it was time to stop stalling and get an upgrade for it. Around a week later, I went to my local Fry's and picked up the MSI GTX 1060 that's in my rig now. Similar to the GTX 950 I reviewed a few months ago, this MSI card has a feature with the fan, where if the card's temperature is lower than 50 degrees Celsius, the fan won't spin, causing it to be completely silent in low to no load situations. Even when the fan spins up, it doesn't get very loud, and it's usually at very low RPM. The card has very respectable specs considering the price tag of only $260 with 1280 CUDA cores, a base clock speed sitting at 1544 MHz with a boost of 1759, a whole 6GB of video memory with a 192-bit memory interface width, a power supply requirement of only 400 watts, and 120 watts of power consumption, making the GTX 1060 a good card for low power PSUs, especially since this card only has one 6-pin connector on the side. The I/O ports on the back are very modern, with two DisplayPort 1.4 connectors, dual HDMI 2.0B, and a single DVI-D dual link. Taking a look at the less technical features of this card, we see the shroud is fully plastic and has a beautiful black and white finish, with some carbon fiber graphic parts on the top, and plenty of holes on the sides for airflow. The heatsink is really big considering the card's overall size, with a large array of aluminum heat fins and a huge copper heat pipe running along either side. At this point, we've taken a good enough look at the card itself that it's time to look at its performance in games. The system that will be used today for benchmarking the 1060 includes an i5-6500, 8GB of Corsair Vengeance DDR4 2400 memory, and an EVGA 700B power supply. With all of that out of the way, let's jump right into the benchmarks and see how it holds up.
I've ever seen anything quite like this before. I'm afraid I can't do that.
So as you can quite clearly tell by the FPS for each game, the GTX 1060 is a very powerful card for the price you pay. I would absolutely recommend this card if you're looking for a cheaper option that will still power your games well and give you lots of FPS. For the benchmarks, I was considering doing Rust, but I didn't because while it's intensive, it's really inconsistent. You could have a really high-end PC that theoretically averages 150 FPS in Rust at Ultra, but then you join a high to mid population server and it completely ruins FPS because of high entity count. Also, apologies for inconsistent frame rate on the recordings. Shadowplay hasn't been working well the past few months and the recording was inconsistent, but I ran the benchmark so that I wasn't recording, so the FPS stayed consistent and true to what the 1060 was able to push out when it set it on screen. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you next time. Peace!